In this video, I'm going to test out every single screen protector that FLOLAB offers, as well as their rear camera protectors for the brand new iPhone 16 Pro Max. I will be doing an installation for each one of these screen protectors. I'll see how they fit, how they feel. I'm going to go over the features of each one of the screen protectors as well, and make sure you stick with me throughout the whole video because I will be doing a drop and a scratch test to see how durable these screen protectors are, and I promise you by the end of this video, you'll know which one of these screen protectors are right for you. And if you guys want to save some money, make sure you use my discount code, which I'll put in the video description. So let's get started. And then here we have a privacy screen protector made by FLOLAB. So first up, we're going to test the FLOLAB ONETIME Pro Privacy Screen Protector. Now this screen protector has anti-reflective, anti-fingerprint, and antimicrobial coatings. It's also a triple strength, it's super easy to install, and it also has a lifetime warranty. So we get one screen protector, a squeegee, and some installation wipes. So the first thing we need to do is to thoroughly clean up our screen with our alcohol wipe. Then take your dust sticker, we'll take off one part, just like this. We'll place this over the front of our phone. Make sure it's in place, and then you can just push out the other part of the sticker, just like that. Just push out any air bubbles. So then take your guide with your screen protector in it, making sure that the top signifier here is going towards the camera on your phone. We'll take off our dust sticker. Then stick on the whole guide over your phone just like this, press it into place. Then hold on to the guide with one finger. You don't have to press down on it hard, just make sure it stays in one spot. Then we're going to pull out this little piece of plastic here with our other hand. And just slide your finger up the middle just like that. And then wait about 20 seconds for it to adhere to your phone. Once that's done, we can lift up on the guide. And you're all set. And make sure you hold on to your installation guide for your warranty. So let's take a look at the screen. So we do have some bubbles on the bottom here. Not a problem. We have a squeegee, so I'll just squeegee those out. So I was able to get those bubbles out very easily with the squeegee. Installation looks great. We do have a slight gap around the phone for case compatibility, which we will test in just a few minutes. I don't see any bubbles, no lifting. Screen looks really nice. As far as the touch, super smooth, just like the glass that's on the phone, maybe even a little smoother. The edges are also rounded off. So the screen protector is a full coverage screen protector, and it does cover the sensors for our Face ID. So let's test that out. Face ID working fine. Now with all of these privacy screens, it does dull the screen down. So you probably will have to raise the brightness on your screen to kind of compensate for that. But once you do, it looks crystal clear. Now let's test out our camera. Camera looks perfectly fine, nice and clear. Now as far as fingerprints goes, this does a really good job at rejecting fingerprints. I really don't even need to wipe the screen. As you can see, there's only very slight smudging like right here, but it's so light, like I mentioned, you really don't even need to wipe the screen off. Now this screen protector does have anti-reflective technology built in, and if we take a look at our studio light in the screen here, it significantly dims that light so you can see the screen a lot easier than you could without the anti-reflective technology. So now let's take a look at the screen as if we were looking at it through polarized sunglasses. So as you can see, there is a very slight rainbow effect. It's kind of like a pastel color. Not really bad. FLOLAB does make screen protectors that have anti-rainbow effect technology built in. The privacy just does not have that. But the rainbow effect really isn't that bad. And now let's take a look at the light bleed from the corners and edges of the screen here. So you can see there is a slight gap for the screen, so you can see the edge here kind of light up. Again, you're not going to see this when you're looking at your phone normally. It's just something that I've been testing because somebody mentioned it in the comments. And then for the other side, you can see that the gap is just ever so slight. It's really not that bad. But again, when you're looking at your screen normally, you're not going to even see that on the sides. And then for the privacy effect, if you're looking at your screen dead on, you can see everything very easily. But if you're trying to look at the phone from the side, you can see that everything just disappears. That is pretty cool. So let's put it in our case to check out the case compatibility. And it seems to fit the case perfectly. I don't see any lifting, no bubbles. There is a large gap on the bottom of the screen here, but on the top it seems to be pretty flush with the case and on the sides. So it may or may not be case compatible with most cases. You're just going to have to try it out yourself, but it does seem to fit this case pretty much perfectly. We do have a little piece of dust down at the bottom there. But everything else looks pretty good. So everything's looking great so far. Now let's move on to the scratch and the drop test. So we're going to start off our test by dropping a 2.4 ounce steel metal ball at a starting height of 2 feet. If the screen protector doesn't crack, we'll move it up foot by foot until it eventually does. So here we go, 2 feet. 2 feet. So this screen protector lasted up until a 2-foot drop. Now let's move on to the scratch test. So regular tempered glass starts to scratch around a Mohs hardness number 6. So we're going to start off this test with a number 5. Then we'll move on to a number 6. And then a number 7. So if you take a look at the screen, you can see there are no scratches at the number 5. There are ever so slight at a number 6. Sorry. Come on, focus. And then a little bit deeper at a number 7. So scratch resistance seems like it's a tad bit better than regular tempered glass. So installation for the screen protector was really easy. It also might be case friendly with most cases. It lasted up until a 2-foot drop, and scratch resistance seems to be a little bit better than regular tempered glass. Now let's test out the rear camera protectors. These camera protectors are ultra clear. They have an anti-reflective coating as well as an anti-smudge coating, and they come in every color that the iPhone 16 Pro Max color comes in. My phone is the natural titanium, so we're going to be installing the natural titanium camera protectors. So we get one set of camera protectors and an installation packet. So the first thing we need to do is to clean off our camera lenses with the included alcohol wipe, then dry them off. I'd also wait about a minute to make sure that all the alcohol has totally evaporated, because if it's not and it gets trapped underneath the lenses, it'll cause like this fogging effect. Then take your lens protectors, making sure that the guide is oriented in the way that the cameras are on your phone. So it's just like this. Then we're going to peel off the bottom layer and then just press this over the top of your cameras and push each individual camera into place. Once that's done, just lift up on the guide and you're all done. So if we take a closer look here, you can see that it's got that nice natural titanium look on the back. It doesn't add any extra bulk to your lenses, and these lenses will fit perfectly inside the SureTech FLOLAB case. And as far as fingerprints, you can see they do a pretty good job at rejecting fingerprints as well. Nice and smudge free. Very nice looking. There's actually just a tiny bit of smudge on the one lens here. Just kind of wipe that off very easily and you're good to go. And then let's open up our camera so we can take a look at that. Rear camera looks nice and clear. No problems there. You can see how it doesn't distort any of the colors. Everything looks great. Nice and clear. So now let's test out the scratch resistance for these camera lenses. So again, we're going to start off with the number 5. Then we'll move on to number 6. And then finally a number 7. So if we take a closer look here, you can see there are no scratches at the number 5. There are slight at a number 6. And just a tiny bit deeper at a number 7. So scratch resistance is pretty good for these camera lenses. And then here we have the FLOLAB ONETIME screen protector. So this screen protector is ultra clear, it's case friendly, it's got anti-fingerprint and antimicrobial coatings, it's got triple strength, it's very easy to install, and again it's got a lifetime warranty. So we get 2 tempered glass screen protectors with a guide, some installation wipes, and a squeegee. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to thoroughly clean off your screen with the alcohol wipe, then dry it off. Then take one of your dust stickers. We're going to remove one side. We're going to place this down over the top of our phone. And then you can kind of push out the other side just like this. Push out any bubbles. Then you're going to take your guide with your screen protector, making sure that the top signifier here is going towards the camera on your phone. We're going to remove our dust sticker. I'm going to place this whole guide over the top of our phone just like this. Press it into place. Now you just need to hold onto the guide so it doesn't move when we pull out this little plastic tab. You don't need to press down on it with your one hand, just make sure that it does not move. So we'll pull out the tab. We'll slide our finger up the middle here, and then we'll wait 20 seconds for it to finish adhering to the screen, as you can see. Now there may be some bubbles, but that's not a problem because we do have our squeegee and we can very easily get those out. If it has stopped and the bubbles aren't going anywhere, that's fine. You can just lift up on the guide. And then I'm going to take my squeegee and we'll get out these bubbles. So I was able to get the bubbles out with my squeegee. As you can see, installation looks really good. There is a pretty even gap all the way around the screen for case compatibility. The edges are also rounded off. Now this is a full coverage screen protector, so it does cover your camera and your Face ID sensors. So let's test that out first. Face ID working fine. As you can see, the screen is crystal clear. Touch working perfectly fine. It's also super smooth, just like the glass that's on the phone. Let's test out our camera. Camera looks nice and clear. Don't see any issues there. So now let's take a look at the screen as if we were looking at it through polarized sunglasses. And as you can see, there is a slight rainbow effect. It's really not bad at all. Even if you twist and turn the screen, you can still very easily see everything without much of a rainbow effect. And then let's test out the light bleed on the side of the screen. So we take a look at the edge. There's just a very slight bit of edge bleed, not really that bad. On the other side, about the same thing. So it's very minor. Not really a deal breaker for me. So now let's check out our case compatibility. This is the FLOLAB SureTech case. And it seems like there's still a good gap all the way around the case, so it should be compatible with most cases. Definitely a plus. And just to test that out, I will test it with another case as well. And it's the same thing. No lifting, no bubbles. There still is a good gap all the way around the screen. So again, this screen protector should be compatible with most cases. Now, as far as getting the bubbles out on my screen, it was fairly easy, but you might have to work a little bit with the squeegee to kind of get them out. And that's because the adhesive on these screen protectors are a little bit thicker than normal. So you might have to lift up on the screen a little bit to get some of the bubbles out. Some of the bigger ones you can use the squeegee, but it shouldn't be too hard to get them out. So everything's looking good so far. Now let's move on to the scratch and the drop test. All right, so again, we're starting off our test at 2 feet. Moving on to 3 feet. So this screen protector lasted up until a 3-foot drop. Now let's move on to the scratch test. So regular tempered glass starts to scratch around a Mohs hardness number 6. So we're going to start off with the number 5. And we'll move on to a number 6. And then a number 7. So if we take a closer look, you can see there are no scratches at the number 5. There are light at a number 6 and a little deeper at a number 7. So scratch resistance is standard for tempered glass. So installation for this screen protector was pretty easy. You just have to deal with maybe some of the bubbles. It is case friendly. It lasted up until a 3-foot drop, and scratch resistance is standard for tempered glass. And then here we have FLOLAB's ONETIME Pro clear screen protector that has anti-reflective coatings as well as a polar spectra coating. Now let's install the clear FLOLAB ONETIME Pro screen protector. Now this screen protector has anti-reflective, anti-rainbow, anti-fingerprint, and antimicrobial coatings. It's triple strength, it's got reinforced edges, it's easy to install, and again it's got lifetime warranties. So we get one tempered glass screen protector, some installation tools and wipes, and a squeegee. So again, the first thing we need to do is to thoroughly clean off our screen with the alcohol wipe, then dry it off. Then take one of your dust stickers, peel off one side, stick that down on top of our phone, and then just kind of push out the other side. And if you have any bubbles, just kind of push those out. Then take your installation guide with your screen protector, making sure that the top signifier here is going towards the camera on your phone. We're going to peel off our dust sticker. Then take this whole thing and just place it over the top of your phone, just like that. Then just take one hand, hold onto the guide, don't press down on it, and with the other hand, pull out this little plastic tab on the side. Press your finger up the middle of the screen. It should start to adhere, which you can see on the sides here. If you do get some bubbles in the middle, that's okay. We can use the squeegee that came with the installation kit. Just lift up the guide, and we'll take a look at our screen protector. So we do have some bubbles. I'm going to be using the squeegee to get that big bubble out, and the bubbles that are kind of close to the edge, you can also use your squeegee to get out, but the ones that are kind of in the middle, I would kind of recommend lifting up on the screen to try to get those out, but you need to be very careful because you can crack the screen. If you don't feel comfortable with doing that, I wouldn't do it. I would just use your squeegee and try to get these out. So it looks like I was able to get the bubbles in the middle of the screen out just with the squeegee's little corner. Just kind of make little circular motions over the bubble and it should disappear. Alright, so the installation is looking pretty good. Again, I was able to get out like 99% of the bubbles with the squeegee alone, not having to lift up on the screen. There was a little bubble down in the corner here that I did end up having to lift the screen just a little bit to get that out, but other than that, all the other bubbles came out just using the squeegee. So again, installation looks really good. There is a slight gap around the edge of the screen for case compatibility, which we will be testing out. Screen is super smooth, just like the glass that's on the phone. Edges are rounded off. As far as fingerprints, it does pick up some slight smudges, as you can see on the screen here. Not really that bad, but because of the anti-fingerprint coating, we can very easily just wipe those away with minimal effort. Now this screen protector again also does have anti-reflective coatings, so you can see how much it dulls down my camera light in the background versus a screen of the iPhone without the anti-reflective coating. You can see there is a pretty big difference. And even while looking at the screen, you can still see your icons versus the screen that does not have the anti-reflective coating. But as you can see, the screen is crystal clear. This is also a full coverage screen protector, so it does cover your camera and your Face ID sensor, but Face ID working perfectly fine. Test out our camera. Camera looks nice and clear as well. No problems there. Again, touch working fine. Barely have to touch the screen for it to register. Now let's see what our screen looks like through polarized sunglasses. And they also include this little tool here so you can actually see what that looks like. So as you can see, there is no rainbow effect on the screen, even when I twist and turn the screen itself. Actually, there's just a slight bit. But when you're looking directly at the screen, there is no rainbow effect. And that's because of the polar spectra coating that they have on this screen protector. Definitely 99% better than any other screen protector out there. So now let's take a look at the light bleed, if there is any, from the edges of the screen. So as you can see, there is ever so slightly some bleed from the side. Not that bad. Let's test out the other side here. And again, about the same. Really not that bad, but there is some. So now let's put our phone inside of our case. This is the FLOLAB Surtech case. Fits the case perfectly. There is still a gap on the bottom of the case here and a slight bit on the top, not so much on the sides, but there is no lifting, no bubbles. It fits this case perfectly. So this screen protector should fit about probably 99% of the cases out there, but there still might be that 1% where the screen protector just might not work. You're just gonna have to test it out with your case. But this fits perfectly within inside the FLOLAB Surtech case. So again, everything is looking great so far. Now let's move on to the scratch and the drop test. So again, we're going to start off this test at 2 feet with a 2.4 ounce steel metal ball. Feet. So this screen protector lasted up until a 2-foot drop. Now let's move on to the scratch test. So again, we're going to start off with a number 5. Move on to a number 6. And then a number 7. So if we take a closer look, you can see that there are no scratches at the number 5. There are very slight at a number 6. And about the same at a number 7. I think that's probably because of the anti-reflective coating that we can't see the scratches that well. That is pretty cool. Because with all the other screen protectors, it reflects the light very easily so we could see the scratches, whereas here you can't really see them very well because of the anti-reflective coating. So installation for the screen protector was really easy. It also should be case friendly. It lasted up until a 2-foot drop, and scratch resistance seems to be maybe a little bit better than regular tempered glass. And then here we have the FLOLAB ONETIME Max in a matte anti-glare coating. Now let's test out the FLOLAB ONETIME Max matte anti-glare screen protector. So again, this has anti-glare, anti-rainbow, anti-fingerprint, and antimicrobial coatings. It's got triple strength, it's got triple layer protection, it's easy to install, and it's also got a lifetime warranty. So we get one screen protector, some installation tools and wipes, and a squeegee. So first we'll wipe off our screen with the alcohol wipe, dry it off. Then we'll take our dust sticker, we'll peel off one end, stick this down on the top of our phone, and just kind of push out the other side. Get out any bubbles. Then take your screen protector and your guide, making sure where it says top, that goes towards the camera on your phone. We'll peel off our dust sticker. Then take this whole guide, just put it over the top of your phone. Then hold on to it with one hand. You don't have to press down super hard. Just make sure it doesn't move during the installation. Then take your other hand, and we're going to pull out the plastic tab here. And then just slide your finger up the middle. Wait 20 seconds. Now if it does stop adhering to your screen, that's okay. We can just simply use the squeegee to get those bubbles out. We'll lift up on the guide. As you can see, it's still adhering, but we do have some bubbles that we will just use the squeegee to push out. Now I was able to get out most of the bubbles just using the squeegee. I did have to lift up one of the ends to kind of get the bubble out, but for the most part the squeegee does a good job. And keep in mind, sometimes you don't even need to press super hard on the screen. You just kind of touch the bubble and maybe press just very, very slightly and the bubble will come out. Now I do have just one little bubble here that doesn't want to go away, but it might go away after a few days. We'll see. But for the most part, pretty good installation, bubble free, and there's no issues. Now this is a full coverage screen protector, but it's got a clear portion where your camera and your Face ID are, so that shouldn't have any effect on that. But for the rest of the screen, it's got an anti-glare coating, and you can kind of see that with the studio light in the background. It also does have a slight gap all the way around the screen for case compatibility, which we also will test out. As far as the touch, super smooth. It's probably smoother than the glass that's on the actual phone. It's just, your fingers just glide across this glass so easy. The edges are also rounded off. As you can see, the screen is crystal clear. Now let's test out our camera. Front screen looks totally clear to me. Don't see any issues with that. And Face ID is working perfectly fine. And you can see the screen is crystal clear, and when I turn it towards the light, it does keep down that glare pretty significantly. Touch, again, also working perfectly fine, nice and smooth. And then as far as fingerprints goes, it does a really great job at keeping down those fingerprints. You can see there's just very minor smudges on the screen, which almost you really can't even see, but you can just very easily, lightly wipe those away without any effort. So now let's see what the screen looks like as if we were looking at it through polarized sunglasses. And as you can see, it looks pretty good. The rainbow effect is super minimal. Really no problem seeing what's on the screen whatsoever. And now let's take a look at the edge bleed, if there is any. And you can see that it is ever so slight. And then on the other side, again, just a very slight gap. Not really a big deal. And then let's put it in our case. And it seems to fit perfectly. I don't see any bubbles. I don't see any lifting. And again, this is FLOLAB's Surtech case. There's a very slight gap on the bottom and maybe on the top, and just a very slight gap on the edges. But I've been reassured by FLOLAB that the screen protector should be compatible with about 99% of the cases. I absolutely love matte screen protectors because of the way that they feel. They just feel so silky smooth, and it kind of gives the screen kind of like a softness. It looks so cool. Like you can't even tell that there's glass on your screen with the regular clear glass. So looking pretty good so far. Now let's move on to the scratch and the drop test. So again, we're going to be starting off our test at 2 feet. Moving on to 3 feet. Moving on to 4 feet. 5 feet. 6 feet. 6 feet. Wow, so this screen protector lasted up until a 6-foot drop. Now let's move on to the scratch test. Now regular tempered glass starts to scratch around a Mohs hardness number 6, but because this is a matte screen protector, we're going to start off with the number 3. Then we'll move on to a number 4, and then a number 5, then a number 6, and then a number 7. And then we'll take a look. So I don't see any scratches at the number 3, the 4, the 5. There is slight at a 6 and a little bit at a number 7, but they don't really go deep. They kind of just are superficial. It's very hard to show you because of the anti-glare coating, but you can definitely see that there are scratches here and not on the rest. And again, they're really not as deep, nearly as deep as the regular clear tempered glass. So scratch resistance seems to be better on this than regular tempered glass is. So installation for the screen protector was really easy. It also should be case friendly. It lasted up until a 6-foot drop, and scratch resistance seems to be better than regular tempered glass. And then here we have FLOLAB's ONETIME Max with anti-blue light blocking. And then lastly, we're going to install the FLOLAB ONETIME Max with blue light blocking. It's also got anti-fingerprint and antimicrobial coatings. It's got triple layer strength, easy installation, and it's got lifetime warranty. So we get one screen protector, installation wipes, and a squeegee. So now really quick, let me show you how this actually blocks blue light. So here I have a little card that has a blue light kind of reactive film strip on it. So when blue light hits it, it actually turns purple. So you can see right here, I've got my blue light and it's actually kind of burning into purple. And I'll try to show you this one more time. I'll kind of put the card right underneath the screen protector and I'll hit it with my blue light. And you can see that it's not turning purple. Whereas if I was to take it away and do the same thing, it would turn purple immediately. So you can see that the screen protector is actually blocking out blue light really well. So the first thing we're going to do, again, is to clean up our screen really well with the alcohol wipe, then dry it off. Then take your dust sticker, remove one of the ends, place it over the top of our phone, and just push out the other end. Now we'll take our installation guide with our screen protector, making sure that the top signifier here is going towards the camera on your phone. We'll remove our dust sticker, put this over the top of the phone, just like that. Then hold the guide with one hand. You don't have to push down on it, just hold it so it doesn't move during installation. And then pull out the little plastic tab with your other hand. Then push down from the top to the bottom of the screen. And then remove the guide. So it looks like we do have some bubbles right here. You can see, and at the bottom, we'll just use our squeegee to kind of get those out. So I was able to get those bubbles out with the squeegee. I did have to lift up a little bit on the screen protector with my fingernail to get one of them out, but as you can see, it is bubble free. Looks really good, no dust. Very nice installation. As far as touch, super smooth, just like the glass that's on the phone. The edges are also rounded off. This is also a full coverage screen protector that does cover your camera and your sensors on the front, so we'll test those out in just a second. There is also a slight gap all the way around the phone for case compatibility. So let's test out our Face ID. Face ID is working perfectly fine. You can see the screen is crystal clear. Let's test out our camera. Camera looks nice and clear as well. No issues there. As you can see, touch working fine. You can just barely touch the screen to get it to register. So let's take a look at the screen as if we were looking at it through polarized sunglasses. Now, as you can see with this screen, there is a blue light blocking filter, but there is a slight rainbow effect. I don't think it's really bad. It's kind of light. Depending on how you're looking at the phone, it gets a little bit more than normal, but if you're looking at it dead on, you shouldn't really see too much of a rainbow. Now let's take a look at the light bleed from the screen. So if we take a look at the side here, you can see there's just an ever so slight bit of bleed, not too bad. And then on the bottoms here, or this other side, again, it's about the same thing. Really not horrible. Pretty much every screen protector that I've reviewed has that issue. It could be more, could be less, but this really isn't that bad. Now, another thing to note is the majority of the blue light blocking screen protectors out there do have some sort of a tint to them, whereas the FLOLAB is crystal clear, so it's not going to affect any of the colors. So now let's put it in our case. And it seems to fit this case perfectly. This again is the FLOLAB Surtec case. There's a slight gap on the bottom and on the top, and just a little bit on the edges, but there's no lifting, no bubbles. It just fits this case perfectly. And it should be compatible with about 99% of the cases out there. And then let's test out our fingerprints. So it does seem to do a pretty good job at rejecting fingerprints as well. There's just some smudges on the screen that you guys can see, but you can very easily just wipe those away with minimal effort. So everything's looking great on the screen so far. Now let's move on to the scratch and the drop test. So again, we're going to start off the test at 2 feet. Moving on to 3 feet. 4 feet. 4 feet. So this screen protector lasted up until a 4-foot drop. Now let's move on to the scratch test. So we're going to start off our test with a number 5. And we'll move on to a number 6. And then a number 7. So if we take a closer look, you can see there are no scratches at the number 5. There are deeper at a number 6 and almost about the same at a number 7. So scratch resistance is pretty standard for tempered glass. So installation for the screen protector was pretty easy. It also should be case friendly. It lasted up until a 4-foot drop, and scratch resistance seems to be pretty standard for tempered glass. So as you saw from the video, not all screen protectors are made the same. Each one of these FLOLAB screen protectors have their own set of unique features depending on what you're looking for, whether that be anti-reflective coatings, blue light blocking, privacy screens, or just a regular clear protector. FLOLAB has something for you. As far as my favorite screen protector, it definitely has to be the anti-glare screen protector. That one had the best drop protection, and it also feels great on the phone. But which one did you guys prefer and why? Let me know in the comments below. And if you guys want to pick any of these up, don't forget to use my coupon code in the video description to save some money. Now, if you guys enjoyed the video and you found it useful, it would really help out my channel if you gave me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.